Okay, I'm going to install this EXI Hobby 500 class boom and tail section onto the Funcopter. This is a brand new build. I bought the frame, so I'm going to modify this frame so we can use this EXI 500 class boom and tail section. So the first thing we have to do, I have a Dremel tool with a 15mm diameter sanding drum. I'm going to remove material from the frame as well as this boom holder so it will accept this 500 class boom. So we're going to take this material out here as well as this material, so we're going to round this out. Okay, I started to remove some material from this boom holder, and all I did was go here and here, and we want to do a test fit first. So initially what I did was, you'll notice that when you first start taking the material out, that you'll see this flat spot from the hex. So you want to take it initially down to removing that flat spot so it's round all the way. Okay, then we want to test fit before we go any further, and you'll see that it's really not fitting flush yet. We still have a gap here, and so we're going to take out a little bit more material. Okay, I've taken out the rest of the material. I have a piece of broken boom here. I had a little crash the other day, so I broke a piece of boom, and so I'm going to use this as a jig. And so you can see now, it's a little easier to see, that this is fitting nice and flush on that boom holder. Okay, so you want to do it so it's on both sides, so it's nice and flush. Okay, so now we're going to do the frame side. Okay, we're going to start the assembly of the tail rotor section. You're going to need the stainless steel tube. You can get this from me, as well as the belt kit. This is the tail pulley for it. So what we're going to do, by the way, you have to do your own flat because I don't know what tail section you have, so it might change from tail case to tail case. Right now I'm running with a EXI, and this is what it calls for to match up with this flat. So what we're going to do is we're going to install the tube. You want to make sure that it's on the flat, and if you can see, we're flush. The tube is flush with the end of this slider assembly. Then we're just going to lock that down. Okay. Then we're going to slide this assembly into the tail case. Okay. And we are going to install the pulley. So you want to put your belt through first, and you'll notice on my workbench I have a couple of washers, and I'm going to show you why. And so we have the tail case being put together. Here's the other side of it, and you'll notice that as I move this flush with the outside of the case here, that there's some slop right here in the pulley. Even when I lock it down, you'll see that this tube will push through. So what we want to do is we want to shim that up. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take this off. I have a couple of washers. As long as they fit over the tube, that's all really matters. So that's a really thin washer. I have this other washer here. We're going to install my belt, then my tail pulley. I'm going to install this part here. I'm going to line this up so that we're flush on this side. Then what we're going to do is we're going to lock this guy down. Okay. And you'll see that now we have this guy that is going to turn freely. Okay, now when you put this on here, you want to make sure that you're not shimming it so much that when you screw the tail case down, that you bind the the pulley against the inside bearings. So there should be just a small amount of play in there, but you want to line it up so that you're also centered within the tube itself. So there you have it, and all you have to do is lock the rest of that down and you're good to go. Alright, so we already have our frame sanded out, our boom holder sanded out so it's round. We put our tail case together. All you have to do is slide the other part of your belt kit onto the shaft. Make sure you don't forget your bearing and your bearing collar. You want to center your pulley so it's right on the center of the boom, okay? Then we're going to snug this down. We're not going to put it all the way down. I just want to show you something. So we're just going to do this one here, just so the boom's not flopping all over the place. And we're going to snug this down. Alright, now before you put everything together, you want to make sure your belt is spinning correctly. So you want your tail rotors spinning up into your disc. So we know the motor spins counterclockwise, so our belt is on correctly. Now if your tail rotors are spinning this way as you're turning your motor counterclockwise, then you know that you have to twist your belt one, okay? And you want to make sure that you're twisting the correct way. If you didn't turn it the correct way, you'll feel a little bit of binding and clicking. So just twist it around the other way so that it's free spinning, okay? So I'm going to finish snugging this down. Now, you'll notice that I have a little bit of a gap right in here as I put it together. So this is about a 1/8 inch gap that is in here still. And so I like to keep that 1/8 inch gap in there just so that I know my boom is tied up against here. If I took all the material out so that the boom was perfectly flush and the boom holder was flush to the frame, then there's the opportunity that that the boom is not going to be secure in the frame and that you will get twisting the boom. So we want to make sure that we have enough room to play, and if you like, you can put a couple washers in here. I just leave it open so it doesn't bother me. If you desire, you can put little washers in here as you're putting the screws in. Since we have this gap, you're going to need a little about an 1/8 inch longer screw than what the stock screw is. So you're going to need to get 4 screws so you can put this boom all together. And that's the installation of the 500 kit mod with my belt kit. And this happens to be, like I said, a brand new build. This is the V2 motor, so I'm going to have a brand new frame with a V2 motor with a EXI 500 class boom and tail case. And I will do a flight demo as soon as it's all together. Thanks.